Today we're going to be talking about King Trump. King Trump! The return of monarchy. The return and the rise of the apex kings. As geopolitical Christians, we understand that we are going into a golden age. The golden era that leads into the golden age was enacted when Donald Trump was elected president of the United States, fair and square. The people spoke and they said, we will have a golden era. All we need now is for people to speak up and say we will have a golden age. So today's video, we're going to talk about the return of the apex kings, the rise of the apex kings. And this is a thought experiment. This is not something to be taken profoundly seriously. We're going to talk about, is it even possible to have a king in the United States, since our nation was founded upon a resistance to monarchy. We're going to talk about apex civilizations, why they have monarchs, and what does an apex society or civilization even look like? Could Trump become king of the United States and perhaps the first geopolitical Christian emperor? And why would it be great? And what would be some downsides? So let's talk about first, is it possible for Donald Trump to become king of the United States? As the United States is now, we are not a democracy. We have never been a democracy, and it has been kind of a psyop to convince us that we are a democracy. Our founding fathers, if you read the Federalist Papers, were clearly very strongly against democracy. Democracy was one step from socialism. Socialism was one step from communism. And all these things were things that our founding fathers really wanted to protect us against. Their fathers, because remember, the United States was, the American colonies were started in 1585. 1585. Okay, Raleigh was settled in 1585, and so that means that from 1585 until 1789, we had no president, no ruler, no king, no government. I mean, we had leaders, various leaders in the different colonies and different precincts, but from 1585 to 1789. I mean, there were presidents from 1776 to 1789, but we had no solid leader during that time. We had various, again, there were like 20 presidents between 1776 and 1789. Look it up. One of them was actually Marion. Well, that's an interesting car. It's called a Karma. I've never seen that. It's nice. It's an interesting car. Anyway, we got some Yusuf. Hey, welcome back. I remember Yusuf. Eldol lately. Eldolately. Okay, let's get back into it. Do you think, Yusuf, that Donald Trump will become king? Is it possible for Donald Trump to become king in the United States? Talking about, is it even possible right now? So there are a lot of facts about our history. We're not a democratic nation. That's a big lie that's been promoted by the Democrats since about the 1950s, late 1950s. And this may have been a psyop by the Soviets. We were still in the Cold War at that time, and right at that time, the United States and the Soviets were using psychological warfare because they understood that was a much more powerful form of warfare. So the Soviets waged war in the United States by drawing a wedge between the so-called Negro population and the rest of the United States, and this led to the Civil Rights Movement. If you don't believe me, just look up the redacted, declassified documents. I think you can find them on CIA.gov. The Soviets actually planned on drawing a wedge between the Negro population of the United States and the rest of the country, using victimhood and things like that, Jim Crow. Because Jim Crow was still active, I think about until 1968, until the Civil Rights Act was put in place. So, what do you think? Do you think it's possible for Donald Trump to become king in a? So, what kind of nation do we have? Hello, Olivia. Welcome. What kind of nation does the United States? The United States. A lot of people think we're a democracy, but we are not. Today's my birthday. Well, okay. Happy birthday. You're a cusp Aquarian, so you're either Piscean or Aquarian. I don't know, depending on where this year's. I think the sun goes into Pisces today. So are you Pisces or Aquarian? Well, Yoon Hind, Advan, S2. So, we're talking about the American monarchy. Can Donald Trump, oh, pardon me, can Donald Trump become king? We're not a democracy, so don't worry about that. I mean, even people say we're a democracy, we're a democracy. Even Donald Trump has called our nation a democracy. We're not a democracy. Okay? Okay, you can call all you ask for me. I don't know what that means. Send it through Grammarly, bro. So can Donald Trump become king in a constitutional republic? Possibly. I don't know. I don't know enough about. I know that we were founded on an attempt to overthrow a monocratic. Excuse me, a monarchy, a monocratic, a monarchy, and so we were. Now the United States was established to end the tyranny of monarchy in Europe. So you had the Dutch, you had the English, you had the Irish, the Spanish, the Portuguese, the French, all these European nationals coming here, starting the United States, because they wanted to get away from monarchy. Woman, German. Okay, I just subscribed. Thank you, Olivia. So, do you think that Donald Trump can become king? Let me know, Olivia. Do you think that Donald Trump can become king? What about you, Yoon? Can Donald Trump become king in our nation? Can Donald Trump become the first king of the geopolitical American empire in a constitutional republic? I mean, I think it's possible. I think it's possible. Okay. Hey, okay. All right. Don't know that, but all right. Do you think that Donald Trump can become president? Excuse me, he's already president, but do you think he can become king? I don't know. I'm only 11. You're 11. How adorable. How adorable. How far Rican adorable. All right, young lady. Well, I will do my best not to use as much profanity as I usually do. I will just because you're a young lady. I usually use a lot of f bombs and a lot of other profanity. So because you're a young lady, I will not use profanity today. I I I love the young ladies, and I think that they should not be exposed to too much profanity. All right. Even though, when my daughter was little, I was a little more liberal. So I use a lot more profanity, but nowadays I try to refrain even in front of her. She's 14. So, and now she uses profanity. Hey, it is, I guess that's what I get. All right. Yes, I am friend. Oh, you're from Indonesia. Do they have a monarchy in Indonesia? I believe they do. I believe they do. What? Yeah, I'm going to stay away from, I swear. Oh, don't swear, Olivia. You're a lady. Don't swear. Little girls are adorable. You guys, young ladies make young ladies make the world a better place. I mean, they're crazy too. Okay, I'm not gonna lie on that. You guys are crazy too, but you're just precious. You have that uh, feminine energy from God, and it's still somewhat innocent. And so I just think you're so precious, young ladies. So you're from Houston, Boston, Boston. You from out there in Boston? All right, that's a bad Boston accent on my end. Monster, Econ of Zombies, 20. Okay. Yoon, I'm just going to ignore you because I don't know what you're saying. All right. So we live in a constitutional republic, okay? So Olivia, if your friends say that America is a democracy and our democracy is under attack by Donald Trump, they're lying because we do not live in a democracy. This is a constitutional republic. Our founding fathers hated democracy. They warned us against democracy. They said, do not allow this nation to become a democratic nation. We're a constitutional republic. All right. All right. Okay. I don't think you knows English. Um, so no, we're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. So I mean, we were designed to avoid monarchy and democracy and communism and socialism. And so the structure of our nation was a constitutional republic. So it was designed to protect the individual from the masses. So if you as an individual want to wear blue shirts on Thursday and the law that prevents you from doing that, and your desire to wear blue shirts doesn't harm you, you can go to a state that doesn't have that law, or you can wear a blue shirt, or you can appeal it with the Supreme Court, and they can change that law, or they can amend that law based on whether or not you win that case. So the United States is a powerful and amazing country. We're the only country that has that level of power to protect the individual. And very, very few countries even get close to protecting the individual. Democratic countries don't protect individuals. They often will eradicate entire groups of people. Actually, this is specific. I'm from Somerville. Oh, very nice. Well, keep your location safe and secure. Okay, try not to put out too much information. I don't want you to put yourself on blast or make yourself um, accessible to predators. Okay, all right. So just be safe, young lady. I found a water blocks. Okay, good. Thank you, Olivia. I'm glad that you're protecting yourself and being safe. All right, so we live in a constitutional republic. Apex societies, let's talk about those. So apex societies or civilizations are societies that are operating under the 7 Ps of all for all citizens. And so that means that every single citizen has equal and access to an ability to attain without unnecessary challenge the 7 Ps of geopolitical Christianity. And that is prosperity, that is purpose, that is peace, that is pleasure, that is power, that is purity, and that is productivity. Every single citizen has the ability to pursue those without undue or unnecessary impedance. In the United States, everybody pretty much has the ability to pursue those for the most part. Okay? Every single citizen of an apex society or civilization has individual liberty. Every one of us in this constitutional republic are protected by the rule of law. And citizens of such said apex societies are happy, healthy, respectful, children growing up in these sort of societies are happy, healthy, respectful, productive, curious, and childlike. And so the whole sexualization of children by Disney over recent years and by the alphabet soup in Hollywood has, alphabet soup outside of Hollywood is just fine, but inside of Hollywood, there's been this attempt to turn little girls into women and little boys into men prior to the time when that is supposed to happen, according to God, according to all the things that God has put in our bodies and our natural changing process. So, um, an apex society respects the childlike nature of a child, and it makes sure that children are healthy, happy, respectful, productive, curious, and just being children. And so another thing about apex societies and civilized societies is that they're beautiful. They're actually aesthetically pleasing. They have architectural structures that are beautiful. It's not brutalist, ugly architecture like you see in a lot of Western nations today, like Canada, the United States, a lot of the strip malls and boring, ugly places. Europe still has a lot of that beautiful apex civilization architecture. All right. And we also have a healthy citizenry. So the citizens of apex civilizations, apex communities are healthy. They are, and they're pursuing worthy goals. You don't have poverty or homelessness or those sorts of things in the apex societies and civilizations. And you have harmony with the natural order. So they're not destroying nature. They are still utilizing nature. They're still harvesting from nature, but they're not destroying nature. And so we haven't seen one of these sorts of societies for 12,000 years. We haven't seen a true civilization for about 12,000 years. But the United States is as close as we could be to that. We almost lost that completely with the rise of the woke left. We almost lost our humanity. So the radical right could also cause us to lose our humanity if we let the evangelicals take over. But we're all going to push back against that. As geopolitical Christians, we're going to protect humanity by being the best humans we can be. We're not going to go to war with anybody. So anyway, how is it possible to bring monarchy back? I mean, this is just a thought experiment. I don't think Donald Trump will ever become king. He may run for a third term as vice president or something like that. I think he's just an exceptional leader. But can we bring monarchy back in a sustainable way? And I would posit yes. That means that monarchy might be preferable to the bureaucracy. Because right now we have a bureaucracy. We have, oh, Joseph is back. Hello, Joseph. Yeah, I remember you from last night. We're talking about King Trump. I'm being a little heady on this one because I'm talking about us as a constitutional republic. Do you think that, Joseph, do you think that Donald Trump can become king of our constitutional republic? We're not a democracy. And if if you've been going to school since 1960 in any capacity, you've been indoctrinated with the lie that the United States is a democracy. We're not, never have been, never will be. Thank God. We almost became a democracy under Obama. We almost got Kamala in there, and that almost turned us into democracy. We dodged that bullet. We are a constitutional republic that protects the rights of the individual citizen. Jennifer says, yes, I remember you, Jennifer. Welcome back. Jennifer and Joseph are here together. You guys go to school? Are you guys following each other? You guys coming? I think there's a connection because y'all were like going back and forth in the last talk. Anyway, Joseph, yeah, because he's already lived by so many people. So yeah. Joseph's Harbor says love. Yeah, he loved. Yeah. He is loved by many people. And I think that the United States will be okay. I mean, the populace will be okay with him becoming a king if he did all the things he says he's going to do. I think they would love him. Agreed. Oh wow, Jennifer. Yeah, Jennifer and Joseph. You guys are like 4 years apart or something. I think I remember the last conversation. That's interesting that you guys popped on here both together. Maybe you guys are like fated to be together or something. I'm not gonna make a love connection because it's not my job, but who knows? I remember you guys were like going back and forth last time. But anyway, Donald Trump does have the potential if he does everything he said he was going to do, and we do go into that golden era, which is prophesied. It's possible that our constitutional republic would have room for a king. And you'd still have a president. There are lots of nations that are monarchies that have presidents or prime ministers. I think you have that in some of the European nations, some Asian nations. But I think Donald Trump could become king. I think he'd become the first monarch of America's geopolitical Christian empire. So, would monarchy work in a constitutional republic? Yeah. I think you would make a super civilization if you did that. Because, think about it. In a constitutional republic like the United States, we have protected rights as individual citizens. As an individual, the government cannot come against you unjustly. They have to prove in the court of law that you are worthy of whatever the government wants to do to you, and then the government has to follow that. Like, it has to go to court over it. Yeah, I'm not sick. I just have a little sniffly diffilies going on. Yeah, it's a little stuffy in it. Let me fix that. I'm going to work on that. I'm going to fix that. That's something that I need to fix, and I'll fix it. It may not be fixed during the call, but it's just something that I can fix. Something I'm going to fix. So, in a monarchy, you can have an exceptional leadership because the leadership is the people that are leading in a monarchy are bred for leadership. They're actually bred and born for leadership. It's like humans, we try to pretend as if humans are different from other animals, which we are. We're special, we're divine, right? But you can actually breed humans for different jobs. And I hate to say it, but it's been done historically. And it actually makes sense. You can just like you can breed hunting dogs, and you can breed running dogs, and you can breed fluffy cats, or breed skinny cats, or breed short leg cats. Like, you can selectively breed humans, and children that demonstrate confidence, integrity, clarity about where they want to go in life. They're very much a leader. Men and women that are boys and girls that show the signs of leadership, you can actually separate them out from the main group of kids and actually educate them on diplomacy, refinement, negotiation, all of these things to accentuate those abilities. And then when they become adult aged, between 25 and 30 something, you mate them, meaning, mate them like animals, put them in a room and wait for them to make a baby. But you basically allow them to be among each other and select each other. And you don't allow the lower non-leadership individuals to breed or to interact with them. And so, like, that would look like what it looks like now. The political elites don't interact with those outside of that class. The political elites integrate among or interact among each other. They don't interact among non-elites. And there's a reason for it, just like elite athletes. Elite athletes don't hang around with donut eating, couch potato schleps. They just don't. They don't deal with people like that. And so I think that having an American monarchy would be exceptional because you have the Constitution that protects every individual's rights, and you have a citizenry that could do exceptional things if you did that sort of a structure. And this, again, is just a thought experiment. I don't mean to say this necessarily will happen. I mean, it could happen, but I don't think it would be a bad thing. Think about it. I mean, think about it this way. Who wins all of the long distance running races? There's a group in Mexico where they could win. I mean, if they were to get into the Olympics, they would be the top because they run for like 70 miles at a time. But it's usually the East Africans, right? The Ethiopians, Somalians, Kenyans. Those are the ones that like win those really long distance. Now imagine if a Kenyan were to marry a Samoan or a Tongan, right? Those people are physically very different. The children of that marriage are not necessarily going to have the running ability of their Somalian, Ethiopian, Kenyan parent. Now, if that Somalian, it has to be a tall, thin, one of those Ethiopians or one of those Kenyan Somalis, one of those East Africans, right? Horn of African people. Now, imagine if they were to marry, like a Somalian was marry another Somalian. They're tall and thin, and they're going to win every race because they're made for that. They're phenotypically made for that. Same goes with intelligence. The same goes with strength, right? Slavic people, why do you think they're like Khabib and all these guys are like they're killers, but they're exceptional UFC fighters? That group of people, I used to read, a lot of journals on human genetics and human diversity, phenotypes and all this. They have an unusually high bone density. Slavic people, I believe. A unusually high bone density. And I think that's just breeding, right? They live in the high north. They live in cold regions. They have to be very resilient and robust over years, hunting animals, big animals, things like that. And so you breed out the people with less bone density and less robust bodies, people that don't have a good subcutaneous fat layer, or less hirsute, or not as hairy. So you breed those people out, and what do you have? You have these, people that are very robust in that way. So why wouldn't that apply to leadership? Exceptional leaders, breeding exceptional leaders. Why not? Why not? So I think that monarchy in the United States could be an exceptional thing. And I think that having a golden age means that we do need to engage in selective breeding. And I'm not saying you go to people and say, you can't breed with that person. No, let people breed with whoever they want. But what if you notice that, okay, these children have exceptional mathematic abilities? I mean, in the UK, it's the Nigerians, it's the Japanese, it's the Koreans. Those people kill it when it comes to math. Like, they're just good at it. Now, in the United States, I don't know, for some reason, the Nigerians that came here ain't that good with math. But it's like Ghanaians and Nigerians. They're really good with test taking in the UK. They blow everybody out of the park. Because here, it's the Japanese, the Chinese, the Koreans. They're the ones that blast everybody out of the water in the tests, in the mathematics, and that sort of a thing. Why do you think that is? There is a progress. There's a pattern, and there are traits that people pass on to their children that allows their children to beat out all of the competition. Because if you have two parents that are entrepreneurs, they're very good at business, they're negotiators, they're diplomatic, they have business acumen, they have business sense, and they get together and they have you, well, you're obviously going to pick up subconsciously through osmosis their ability to be excellent at business. Nigerians are good at that. And look, people don't want me to say it, but there's certain ethnic groups from Europe that are exceptional at that. The Ashkenazi are good with that, right? Because culturally, they pass these traits on to their kids. And so why wouldn't a powerful, business smart leader who marries someone who's also a business person, who's smart, who's a leader, Why wouldn't they make an exceptional leader child? Obviously, there's going to be one-off kid that's not that great. Donald Trump has one daughter that's not in the limelight a lot because she's not like Ivanka. Ivanka's a killer. She's awesome. She's a powerful apex woman. She's a great businesswoman and she's an exceptional diplomat. Exceptional businesswoman. But her sister Laura, maybe not so much. She didn't get it. Okay? And that's okay. It doesn't make her a bad person. She just doesn't have it. Donald Trump Jr. Is exceptional. He's got his daughter. I mean, these people, they're bred for leadership. They're bred for resilience because of the father they have and also the mothers that they had. So, an apex civilization, monarchy in the United States could happen, but it would require exceptional changes. Football, that's another thing. Who beats everybody out in football? Texas. You go down to the South, Texas, the South, Alabama, Texas, Tennessee, Georgia. But who's down there? People that were bred for strength, speed, size, agility. Marian people. Now, I didn't get all that. I got some of the athletic stuff. I got a great body, but I didn't get the height, and I'm not athletic, so I didn't get any of that. But in my family, my dad's side of the family, they're big, they're muscular. We're all older now, but they're big, dude. They look like football players on my dad's side of the family. So it's all breeding. It's all breeding. Anyway, Joseph says, I kind of can't wait for the future because many scientists are going to breed different things and see what they can get. I'm kind of scared. Yeah. The scientists are struggling with that. I know that in 2007, they had the UK had to pass a law to prevent them from creating what are called cybrids. 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 Cybrids are embryos that are either animal, they're animal. They can't do this with human embryos, but they're animal embryos with human genetic material. And they were creating rhesus monkeys with human pancreas cells. So at the embryonic, or I think a zygotic, anyway, before the cells become a fetus. Pardon me, I used to teach anatomy, but I've forgotten it all because I haven't talked about it in years. But pardon me. You can actually take human pancreatic cells and inject them into the fetus of a rhesus monkey. And they were doing experiments on these poor little baby rhesus monkeys with human pancreas to see which kind of drugs would work. And so they exist. They've existed for over 20 years. This is like old. This is not new. They've been public knowledge since I think 2007, 2008, somewhere in there. So we do have human animal hybrids, and pigs are like 98 to 99% genetically compatible with humans. So are chimpanzees. So you do already have a lot of that experimentation happening, Joseph. So yeah, it can be scary. It can get scary. And I would posit that humans already do have a lot of interspecies breeding taking place over the last how many hundreds of thousands of years we've existed. I do think that there are some other genetic strains within us that are probably well known to the the elite geneticists. They know about it, but they don't let that information get out into the public. Because I know that, again, I get nerdy, I get deep into stuff, and I haven't looked at this stuff for well over 10 years, because I used to teach at the university level, well, college level, anatomy and physiology. And you have to pardon me because I've forgotten a lot of it. But one of the things that when I was in pre-med, we studied was human genetics. And we looked at the genome and alleles and DNA and, all of it, RNA, mRNA. We looked at all of that stuff. We had to study this. We have to know that. And years later, I found out that, you can splice certain things in. You can do certain experiments. So it's happening. It's happening. And I wouldn't be surprised if you have, people walking around today that are the result of, experimentation. Who knows? I'm not scared about it. I don't think it's good necessarily, but I'm not really worried about it. We'll see. Nature has this way of sterilizing organisms that defy too many of its laws. And that's, I think, one of the things that God kind of put in place. Little cute blondie, singing or screaming. I don't know what she was doing. So cute. There are a lot of cute little blondies where I live. A lot of pretty little blondies. That's another thing too. Breeding. I mean, certain areas you just have exceptionally good-looking blonde women, and lots of them. Why do you think that is? I mean, the best-looking blondes marry the best-looking blondes, make more blondies. So it's. I'm not into blondes. They're all attractive. I mean, they're not all of them attractive, but there are a lot of attractive blondes. I'm more into brunettes and raven-haired girls. All right. So anyway, I got off topic. But yeah, we can bring monarchy back, and I think that selective breeding would help us to create a leadership class that would be exceptional. They are experimenting with using AI for leadership. And I think if you take AI and quantum computing, bring those together, once those fuse together, that once they really get that dialed in, I think quantum computing AIs could probably do a good job as well. Anyway, when you breed specific leaders, you have much more clarity over leadership. You can have more transparency, and the populace will trust those leaders because they'll say those people were bred for that. Why do you think we trust our football players to be what they are, our basketball players, or our I don't know, farmers, whatever, right? People are going to say, okay, we trust those people to be leaders because they were bred for that. They were actually bred for that. Like, uh, Daddy was an exceptional leader, Trump. Mommy was exceptional in her capacity to respect that level of leadership. I mean, he was such a great leadership. It didn't matter how good Mommy was as a leader. Dad was so good that it just passed down to the kids, and we can see that because as they were growing up, look at Barron Trump. I mean, he seems to be dialed in. He seems to be dialed in. Joseph Harbaughter says, I hate how they're making AI cars because what if they malfunction? Well, there is that concern, and also there's the concern over if you have an AI driven or self-driving car, you do have that, and they have malfunction. But you also have the fear that someone can hack your car and rob you, or if the police want to come after you, you don't have the freedom to get away. And so there are people that are afraid of that, and I understand that concern. That's a legitimate concern, Joseph. It's legitimate. So that's a real concern. So yeah, these people, they'll have clarity as leaders. We'll be able to have transparency. We'll be able to get rid of bureaucracy to a great extent. And we also know who's failing. If someone's, let's say if Barron Trump becomes the Prince of America, the Prince of America, then we'll know if he's messing up, right? Bureaucrats in the United States have hidden a lot of corruption. We're seeing that come out with Doge, pointing out a lot of our tax dollars are going to actually harm us as Americans. So we're paying for our own demise, and Americans don't want that. So we'll see what happens with the IRS over the next couple of years. Hopefully they get rid of it completely. I would love that. Please get rid of the IRS. All right. Monarchy requires a certain level of responsibility. It also, the monarchs are the servants of the people. In ancient Egypt, the king, well, the pharaoh was the Purah. And the Purah is the house of the people. And so the leader in ancient Kemet, which was the descendant of a golden age, his responsibility, he was the servant of the people. He wasn't the Lord of the people, the God of the people. That's one thing that I'm surprised that a lot of archaeologists and anthropologists really don't ever pick up on, is that the pharaoh was the servant of the people. He was the one that the people relied on, and he was seen as the house of the people, the Purah. That's what pharaoh, the real word pharaoh is Purah, which means he's the house of the people. And so if we have monarchs again, they would be the servants of the people. They would be our servant. So could we bring back monarchy? I think we could. I think it's already happening. You've got people like Putin, Xi Jinping, and other leaders, Kim Jong Un. You already have that in the world. It happens. There's problems with it, not always great, but it's happening. Trump is a very strong man. He's a great patriarch. He's got a powerful family of men. He could resurrect patriarchal monarchy again. So that's what I have to say about that. I don't know if it's just a thought experiment. I don't see Trump ever becoming. He could become king, but I just don't. I don't know that would ever happen. We'll see. We'll see what happens over the next 3 years. Weirder things have happened. We had a global pandemic that knocked out businesses and put our world in head spin for 2 years. We thought it was only going to last 2 weeks. It ended up being 2 years. So anything is possible. The American monarchy could come about. It could happen. Anything is possible. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that, y'all. That's all I got to say. We'll get back to work. All right. Be Apex, stay Apex. Thanks for joining.